Welcome to the Soul Health Mentor Podcast. I'm Nadia Shana Kraus, author of From Dreaming to Done and founder of Soul Health Mentor and Company. Here we bring the human and the soul together. We talk about finishing the dream your soul has never let go of through embodiment, clarity, and wholeness, because we are souls having a human experience, not in exchange for, but in inclusion of. This is the Soul Health Mentor way. Hello, beautiful soul, strong heart, and deeply human dreamer. I am so glad you are here. Today, I want to talk to you about unlocking your potential and the real truth behind dreams. In last week's episode, I talked to you about the anatomy of a dream and the different phases, and I did it from a perspective of development. So I wanted you to imagine that you had balanced, healthy, empowered, wise parents that did the healing and empowerment work to really be able to show up for you. And I wanted you to imagine that they supported you, guided you, showed you, and developed you in your strength or strengthened you in your development. That's just the imagine, so that we have a base we can speak about. And then it would be very natural that they would watch and they would discover with you your personality, your quirks, but also your naturally given skill set and gifts, things you just do naturally and are good with. And then they would have developed that with you. Then the anatomy of a dream, the awakening phase, the identity phase, the relational sovereignty phase, and the physical capacity phase becomes another developmental journey. And a little child has an idea, an awakening of something, and then it is the parents that helps them develop the identity that can hold that idea and dream. And maybe the little child runs into relational challenges, then it is the parents that guide the little one through those challenges. And again, the next threshold could be physical capacity. And now you're understanding why I approached it the way I did and why I talked about the anatomy of a dream from vision to reality in the way I did. Today, I want to talk about unlocking your potential and the real truth behind dreams. So the first truth that I need to address is that there are dreams we think are our dreams that actually have to do with societal conditioning of what success looks like. And then we have the real truth behind our heartfelt dreams. They just have to do with us. And just like you would watch a little child that is still innocent, it's not conditioned in the same way as an adult. And like I said, that's why I wanted you to imagine those parents that would just support that child in its purity, the way it was born, and just in a way of an adventure discovering together what the personality is like, what the skill set, talents, and the natural things that child does, what they look like. Nobody knows, right? It's a discovery. And then you start developing that. Then it would be based on the original divine soul blueprint of that child, what it came in with. That is not the world we live in, and that's okay. That's okay. It's the reason I have to talk about it, though. So I want you to differentiate between dreams you were conditioned to believe you needed to feel fulfilled and successful. And I know that I had a life's checklist. And in my 20s, that life's checklist looked like I needed to be attractive. I needed to look a certain way. I needed to dress a certain way to be perceived as successful. I needed a certain career, a certain income. And I very early on, though, didn't buy into all of that. I did follow my heart, and I did start noticing that in my environment, there was a lot of life's checklists and checking it off. Okay, I'm going to school, I have good grades, I'm going to university, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to get this job with this much income, I'm going to meet my person, I'm going to get married, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to have children. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. It's just that I don't know how many people in this world truly reflect on their values. Are, are your values true to you, or are your values things you inherited from your parents, from your family, from your surroundings, from your school, from society at large? And that is the first bit of work. Last podcast episode, I talked about imagining these ideal parents, healthy and balanced and empowered and wise and just supporting us. And I also talked about reparenting ourselves when we didn't have that experience, when our parents didn't see us, when our parents didn't support our natural given gifts, when our parents just weren't able to because they didn't get it. So I talked about the reparenting work. Now I'm talking about your authentic, heartfelt dream versus something you were conditioned to believe you needed to be successful. And this is a process. And I already mentioned the original Divine Soul Blueprint. And that is something you are born with. I mentioned my book over and over again because my book is my life's work, From Dreaming to Done, a soul map for finishing what you were born to do. If you haven't bought the book yet and you are not sure if you want to buy the book, it's okay. Um, I would love to gift you the first chapter so you can take a peek. You can visit my website, happywholesomelife.com, and there you will find a little button about midway of the page. It'll say download your soul map gift. And that's where you can do that. And the reason I'm mentioning it now is because the subtitle of the book is A Soul Map for Finishing What You Were Born to Do. And within the book, there's creative processes that helps you connect your story. It helps you connect your truest dream from chapter to chapter to chapter. And by the end of the book, you have all these clues which show you the soul map. There's also a soul map initiation I do with clients where we really take you back to your original divine soul blueprint because that is where your original values lie. So they're they're universal values, but every soul has a different focus. So it's good to know where the focus lies, right? Does the focus lie on compassion, on embodiment, creation, and manifestation? Does the focus lie on order, on love, on truth, on wisdom, on power? Whatever it may be, there are nuances. So there are ways that, like my values, what is really, really important to me might not be exactly the same values you hold, or just partially the same. We obviously relate to each other, and there are souls that are inspired by entrepreneurship, by trailblazing their own path. And then there are souls that rather have safety and security in a steady job. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just important to know that if you are here listening to this podcast, you are highly likely a visionary leader, a creative creator, or even soul led entrepreneur yourself already, right? So there is this vision, this idea, this spark that wants to come through you. And then you have to fight against the conditioning that told you that it needs to look a certain way because you're trying to press the essence of your dream into a system and structure that cannot hold it. And it's much like a 2-year old learning to fit the circle in the right place, the triangle in the right place, and the square in the right place. And when they're learning, they're struggling because they don't yet understand that the square piece doesn't fit into the circle and the triangle doesn't fit into the square piece. But once they figure it out, they can get it in. So it's really that image of realizing there's a lot of development. So from dreaming to done is not hustle culture. It is not manifestation culture. It is self-actualization as the new manifesting. It's unlocking that potential that already lives inside of you and giving that a way to come through and become real and lived. In German, they call it Herzenswünsche, heart's wishes. And Herzenswünsche are really those things that aren't always logical. So there's a lot you need to fight against. And I'm speaking from experience here. I was connected to my Herzenswünsche, to my heart's wishes, to my heartfelt desires. And I had ideas and I had sparks and I was very creative and I was criticized and I didn't know how I was going to do it. So I just want you to know that this is going to be an ongoing conversation. But in real life, I'm not really someone that holds a monologue. I love conversations. So I really want to invite you to ask me questions. When you're listening to the podcast episodes, please share what inspires you, what challenges you, something that I say that challenges you because you don't understand what I'm saying, or so what inspires you? What challenges you? Maybe you even had a breakthrough, or maybe something I said led to another question, because that would be the natural way we would talk. We would have a conversation. So there's different places on the internet where you can leave a comment. You can leave a comment on YouTube. Typically, I share the shorts and I share this video on my YouTube channel as well as the podcast episode, which is just audio, right? But right there, you can leave a comment. You can ask me questions. You can leave a comment on the Podbean app. The Podbean platform is the hosting platform for my podcast. You can download their app. You can leave a comment. And you can also leave a comment on Spotify. So I'm signed up for Spotify for creators, so I will receive your comments. And I'd be so happy and grateful to answer your questions. Otherwise, I'm just talking like in monologues, which is not my nature at all. This podcast was born from the desire, from my potential unlocking, and me having to find out the real truth behind my dreams, and me having to figure out the anatomy of a dream from vision to reality. So I'm sharing everything that I've been through, and I do take my own medicine and walk my own talk. So you can ask me anything. Thank you for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you again. And I look forward to receiving your insights, your breakthroughs, your challenges, your questions, whatever it may be. Thank you for being here. If something in this conversation stirred your body, whispered to your heart, or woke up a dream you've been carrying, that's not random, that's resonance. If you want to walk this path with me and join a community of grounded visionaries learning to finish what their soul began, download your Soul Map gift by visiting soulhealthmentor.com and clicking on the book icon. And if you loved this episode, share it with someone whose dream deserves to be finished, or write a review of your experience on Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music. Here we root and rise together, one completed dream at a time.